Hey folks, welcome to Fine Badger Outdoors. Today we took the ATV, we loaded up, brought a little extra gear. We're going to have a little hot tent in a new location. Lots of dead wood here. I was frigging around with the debris fence. So I'll bring you back. We'll have a coffee together and I'll show you the setup. Thanks for your time, guys. Well guys, I'll take you for a little walk. We got camp all set up. Got a coffee made. This is a beautiful place. All hardwood, a little bit of softwood, but you got to go looking for it. So I've got to take you guys in. And you can't walk quietly through here if you tried. Thought I might see a deer. It's that time of the year, it's deer season, and sometimes when you're setting up camp, well, you're always pawing at the leaves, right? Breaking sticks, kind of thing that bucks. I've had them come in before. Scared the crap out of me. Because you see, I buy my deer license just to do the conservation thing. I haven't really hunted for years. Nothing against it, just lost interest, rather just do the camping thing. It's okay guys, basically, show you here if I can get untangled. One of these days I'm going to buy one of those wireless things. One of you guys suggested that once. Anyways, we got our little work area here. We're going to process a little bit of wood. It's only supposed to go to about, I think, 7 Celsius tonight. And you'll see a little bit of new kit here and there, trinkets, like little things. And after I use them a bit, I'm going to do little videos on each one to let you guys know. Because, like, just an example is this little stove, this little remote stove, because I missed my other one because of the pezzo. This one has the pezzo. These fold into itself. It's still kind of warm, but this gives you the gist of it here. It folds like this. Now the cool part of this little stove was it come with 2 adapters. So one is for propane. You can run it with propane. And what interests me was these little butane. I know they're not supposed to be good with cold weather, and you have to be really careful with the regulator, but I can run it 3 ways, either the propane butane mix, or just straight butane or propane. It's got fittings, and I just, because this is the cheapest way to go right now, 3 of these is like 11 bucks, so I figure this winter, if I could use it, I would just put a hot pack underneath of it. Those are good for 8 or 10 hours, and those are cheap. So here she is, guys. I set her up, and it didn't take me very long, but like I said, the room in this thing, I haven't set the stove up. Right where the bag is where the stove is going to be, more or less. Got the cot set up there, the rifle's in the case underneath. That's what's under the scarf, and this is just my, keep the tent and things in there. That's what I put the cot in. I bought that at Princess Auto. It's a dry bag. Gonna have a table here later, foot locker. Like I said guys, using the wheeler makes a big difference. It's just a little 250, but you can see where I got with it. Like there's no roads in here. If there is, it was, you know, they're grown so long ago that, but that little bugger just weaves through the woods. So I do my little recon, my hiking, and I got this area over here, the stove, and I've got some little more trinkets you'll see through the night that I'm not going to mention, because like I said, I want to do a video, and some of them are things I wanted a long time and finally broke down and bought. I'll let you know how that thing works out. I hope I'm not disappointed. It's just a candle lantern. But these I will talk a little bit about, guys. I used these today. I bought them on Amazon, and I don't have the link or anything like that. They're just, you know, heavy duty tent pegs. And I will say, basically, these are way heavier than I thought they would be. Like if you're into lightweight, like right now I'm using the wheeler because I wanted something for winter time. And these are just literally spikes with these welded on, these tabs, and I used them today. And I'll show you what else I brought. Something I don't normally bring, but because of the wheeler. This little thing, and it's remarkably heavy. Now, I know you should say, well, geez, you bring a hatchet. Yeah, I know, I see people swinging hatchets too near their tents. And even though this isn't a, real expensive tent, it's still about, time it was done, about $280 for a working man. That's kind of a lot of money to slash with a tent axe blade. So anyways, yeah, these things here, they come 11 in a pack. 10, yeah, maybe it's 10. And they were about $12. But you wouldn't believe how heavy 10 of these are. And each one comes wrapped, and each one is individually wrapped, made in China, and they're in their own little bags. And they come with these little tips on them to protect. So that's pretty cool. I didn't keep the tips though, but... So yeah, so far so good. I'm kind of anxious to see, in frozen ground, I'm hoping they wouldn't have to go in all the way. And I did anchor the tent down a little bit differently today, guys. Because of those pegs, you can see I didn't always get my 45 degree here. But I didn't really hook onto this. I went right to the loop. And it brought it down more to what I'm comfortable with. I put the vents up. I guide out most of these. I think this is the only one that's not. And yeah, so that's what we've been doing. We've been just working, or I've been working, tinkering, and enjoying my afternoon. I've been just at her slow in our little wood processing area. Now this is just a little tip from the old Badger guys. And I'll admit, I wish I would have started doing it earlier. Right here. When you're using your buck saw, and I'm sure it's not just the Boreal 21, because any buck saw, when you use them, the blades heat. Well, if you ever watch those competitions, those guys, those real professional guys, there's two guys on the buck saw and one guy just runs a can. And I was using it today, and what a difference. You just give it a little shot once in a while and you can cut 2 or 3 just like butter. It's crazy. So I'm sure it would work with any buck saw, even a less expensive one, because I think these are up to $95 now. 2 years ago I paid $85 for it, but it is hands down the best buck saw I've ever had, without a doubt. So anyways, the old Thrasher's still here, guys. And we were just having a coffee. But I did want to show you the little stove. Like I said, it's a little finicky on the controls, but... And yeah, like I said, I'm not really hunting at all. I mean... I don't even think I'm going to process a lot of wood, to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to get a little bit, just in case I need to take the chill out, but... I don't think outside of that I'm going to do too much. But I just wanted you guys to see the setup. And I really like the 2 doors on this tent too, guys. It's a kind of a nice feature. The only thing would have been better is if it would have had like the 2-way zipper, the 2 zippers, because then you could have opened it from the top down for airflow. But it's still pretty cool because I just hooked both of it here and I just opened the zipper. Because those old leaves, once you rile them up, they have a musty smell, so it's nice to get it out before you get in there. But you never know, guys. Maybe I will process, because there is so much wood laying around here. And maybe before dark. That's the thing now. In December, when I do camps, I always remember this the most, because in December, when I do camps, it's basically, for the most part, you're in the tent at 5 o'clock. Because it's dark. I mean, so it puts in for a long night in the tent. And right about now, it's dark at about 6:30, so we'll get a little bit of wood going, and it's 2:30. I can still drag my butt for a little bit longer. I just wanted to share this with you guys. Made me a little toggle here. And I got both of these opened up. I think I might open the door over there again just to let some air through. Maybe. And I also bought this at the dollar bin at Walmart. It's pretty heavy duty. Make a good little poop shovel. So yeah, all I do is just reach down, but you see that's where the two-way zipper would have been nice if you could do it from the top. But the zippers work really, really well in this tent. It sure is not expensive, well, in the way of these big tents, because really, guys, this tent here, you really could sleep. Well, you could put two people with the cots for sure. Anyways, I will get back to you guys a little bit later on, and hopefully I can give enough light in here. I know I only got a candle light, and I always bring one of these because I just like soft light. But I will use my headlight some, because I've done that in the past, just to get some light going for the video, you know, when we video in there later tonight, because I never even set up the stove yet. Didn't process no wood, but like I said, I don't need to lug water because of the wheeler. I bring, 2 quarts, 3 quarts, and so I'm just going to rummage through, and I'll tell you the truth, what I'm going to do, I've been picking away, guys. It's a habit I have right here. If it's a place where I have permission to be, and I think I'm going to camp here again, none of this did I cut down. It was laying on the ground. You can see over there what fell. And I just gathered up, and I make what I call a debris fence around a lot of my perimeter here. And that's what I do. So later I'm going to go maybe take you guys for a little walk. Because if we head out that way, actually opposite the camera, maybe, I'm not sure, you might be able to see the lake through the woods. So anyways, it is a beautiful day today. I don't know what the temperature is, but I'm going to get another one of those indoor-outdoor modules for the colder weather for winter time, camping and stuff, because I'm going to try to get out more this winter. But anyways, guys, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, yeah. So I'm going to go enjoy my coffee and process some wood. But I just wanted to share that little stove with you. And like I said, that outside of the controls being finicky, because it could be because of the butane, it works great. So anyways, yeah. Catch you in a bit, guys. Well, guys, you can see we got some wood. We processed some dead standing. And we went and got ourselves a little bit of kindling just around the, just basically the perimeter of the tent. We'll probably go get another couple good handfuls, but I don't, like I said, it's only supposed to get like 7 Celsius tonight, so it's not super cold, and I brought my -25 bag, so hey, those leaves, the wind's coming up. So yeah, that's what we got going on so far. I'll just back out slowly here so you guys can see the whole setup. And I run a little tiny ridge line because we're going to do a little test later tonight. We're going to just light our little UCO candle here. And we're just going to walk down over the hill because that's where the old road is down over the hill through the woods. And made a bushcraft garbage bag holder, guys. But yeah, this box I had on the back of the wheeler. I call a foot locker. It's got my sleeping bag in it. And this is I brought some chicken noodle soup. And I brought the stove inside in case I want a coffee. My cot's already set up. And the stove, I just got to assemble the stove. Basically, that's about all I have to do. Got my headlight ready. Up top here, I have this old military self-inflate air mat case. And I like to use it over the poles because it's got these loops in it here. And these are just spare candles for the Yuko candle. That's supposed to be 9 hours. So yeah, guys, we got ourselves a pretty nice little camp. And we're just gonna pick up our little saws here because the only thing we've got left to do is go and get some kindling. I don't know if you can see it through the trees there, but that's the old church. And the lake is over there. But I'm going to stay in the woods for now. Nice secluded area. Quiet. At least till I know the hunters are done. Because it's getting into the prime time when, you know. So I might make a little lunch. And this chicken noodle soup I brought. So it's not going to be nothing too fancy. But I think it would hit the spot. So I think, guys, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll get back to you guys in a bit. Didn't take long today, and I really took my time. No rain in the forecast. It's supposed to be, actually, like I said, so that's why I know, overdo the wood pile. And I may just go get a little bit more. I may just, because there's so much around here that's just, and I do like this tent for this right here. Maybe it's not much, but gee, it's nice to be able to stand up, and the two doors are nice also. But yeah, there's just so much. Like this one here, really, I should have probably took out of here, and I'm going to have to soon. Because if I keep camping here, I'm going to come up here with the wheeler someday. I'm not camping, no tent, and get that guy out of here and process it down, because you guys ever do this in the woods and you see this, it is dead standing, and that's the best stuff of all, because it's already seasoned inside, and you just split it and it will burn even in the winter time. And another little tidbit or tip I should share with you guys, in case there's some of you guys that are getting into the sport or whatever you call it. Even in the summertime, you could leave the leaves down or move them like I do, because when you move them, it's got a stale smell. So I move them and then it airs out and you don't have that smell no more. But the point of my little thing is you got to have a tarp to put your gear down, because if not, in the morning it will be damp. I guarantee you. See, the wood is on a garbage bag. Unless it doesn't matter and it's waterproof, like that right there, that case I brought at Princess Auto. Ooh, the badger booties. But yeah, tonight when I go to bed, I'll move the gun case over to the that waterproof thing. Just sitting on top, but I'm going to use that for a little floor mat later tonight. I'll move the chair over here when I assemble the stove, and yeah, this place is a real palace for one guy. Brought my puffy jacket, my Helly Hansen zip up one. Whoa. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, I brought my Helly Hansen zip up one and some other odds and ends in the foot locker. Well, it's a coffee table right now, but anyways. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to get a little bit more wood maybe and start settling in because it's going to be dark in a couple hours here. It's starting to show now, so. Anyway, guys, we'll get that wood pile just a little bit bigger. And I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Thanks, guys. Now, guys, the sun's going down. And it's cooling down a bit. Show you our little area here. I changed my pants. Just nice to bring a spare change of socks, stuff like that. Feels fresh before bed. Work's all done. Didn't light the stove yet. Another little gadget here. Really anxious to try. Didn't want one for a long time. But they were like $100, so I bought one off Amazon for $44. So we'll see how that works. So I'll probably bring you guys back a bit later on when, well, yeah, I can use the battery pack for some light in there because I only got candle light. But yeah, bring you guys back later tonight when it gets dark. Have us a nice little fire. Probably gonna light one soon. It's peaceful here. And did you hear the bang? Every time I open my mouth. No, but it is bird season too, so. So anyway, guys, I am just gonna hang out here and get cozied in, get the sleeping bag out, and just let that fluff. And yeah, wait to get some heat on. Okay, guys, check in with you in a bit. Well, guys, 6 o'clock in the morning. And we had a nice, quiet night. So yeah, quiet. I just got the fire going. Get ourselves a coffee, probably pretty soon. Maybe take another power nap, who knows. But this is the setup we had. And our little Yuko. I lit that at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that. And that candle's showing it's about half gone. And it got a little chilly last night, guys, at times. Weatherman said it was only supposed to go like 7 or something like that. But I think whoa. Yeah. So once I get up around, guys, I'll get a big light on and we'll get the morning routine going. But I might just lay in there and take another little sleep for a little bit until the light gets out. So I will touch back with you guys a little bit later on. We're just going to make us a little coffee here. I just couldn't see if the camera was on. The sun is almost in my eyes, coming up right there. So yeah, let's just have our little morning coffee here. And fire up the butane. I have trouble with the pezzo lighting it though. So I'm still end up burning myself. Hey, we had a good night, guys. The last time I talked to you, I laid and I watched the fire. And I fell back asleep. And I put my little toque on because it wasn't that cold, but I was just in my long johns, you know. And I got my minus 20, 25 bag there's down filled. But I don't zip it all the way. That's way there. Well, when I get cool, I get up and I get the fire going. But after the last time I talked to you guys, I almost 10 o'clock. Before I woke up. But it was really nice night. Nice and calm. The wind didn't blow too bad. It did blow though. So that kept it nice in here too, because I didn't bundle up the bottom really tight. I didn't, because when the air, a gust would come, I could feel a little breeze, and that's what I wanted. Because the wood I use, guys, you saw what I was cutting yesterday. I showed you. Very seasoned, very dry. And that's what those little stoves like. Oh. If you're ever lucky enough to get one, a titanium stove, if you do this, because that's the hurdle. Or if you're a lucky man like me and your daughters buy you one for Christmas. Thank you, girls. Almost 2 years ago now. And this is what you'd call a, well, it's not a big name brand. These are the Down-Show Outdoors or something like that. It's like basically an off-grade or something. But I've had no issues with the little stove. People sometimes complain about them because you got to put the rods in them and put them together, but I can do it in about 4 minutes. Because every time I camp, I always bring a little stove, some sort of little gas stove. And what I do, I call it cheater heat. When I set my tents up, these teepee tents, because usually it's always some sort of tent this style, I take and I set up my little cheater stove, and my area's clear, and I'll just jet it in the wintertime. I'll just turn it on, fill the little thing full of heat while I'm doing that, and then I don't freeze my hands on. Because even in the wintertime, I do cook a little bit in the winter, and I'm going to make a little more effort into putting cooking. Because I know certain, everybody's videos got cooking in them except mine. Mainly because I don't cook. But this winter you can hear the flutter in that stove right there. That's the thing about the but for $11 and change for 3 canisters, I can put up with it. When I'm out here, not every second counts, like not every... It took me 2 minutes and 13 seconds of boiling a cup of water. No, it doesn't matter. But on my next camp, I will take this converter off, and I do have a canister of the butane mix fuel. But it's heating up just fine for me. And I'm sure I could get more out of it, but I find with putting the butane on it, there is a certain amount of like fluctuation. So yeah, I know I shouldn't have, but I put more wood in the stove, and I'm sitting here in a t-shirt. I got the door partially open. It's a nice sunny morning. Have ourselves a little coffee, and then I'm going to rip her down and get home. Me and the wife's going on a road trip tomorrow. We're going to Fredericton. Buy some new clothes. Not me, her. It's her anniversary present. And she bought me something too. It'll be a video. It'll be an upcoming video. I did use it on this camp. I think I kept it hidden pretty well, I hope. It's not the obvious things that I showed you, like this or the fan. Those things are just trinkets I picked up. Sputters like an old tractor when she shuts down. Old John Deere. Maybe those old 2-cylinder John Deeres. I guess actually that's how they sound when they were lugging. My buddy Pete's dad had 2 of them. He bought those brand new though. He's gone now, Chris. But he had those tractors till the day he passed. They ran when Peter got him, his son. Bucket over the exhaust. Yeah. Old days. But, about the new days and modern days, this kind of little rigs like this little titanium bugger that I love so much. I have packed more gadgetry this time, guys, but I did bring the ATV, the little wheeler, and it makes life so much easier because I can actually use a lot of the trinkets, that little gadgets I had and just didn't want to put on my back or couldn't. I mean, you can't bring it all. Top of the morning to you guys. That is sure a good cup of coffee right there. There's the morning train, guys. Right on time. Actually, it's early. Should have been around 11. And this is a new location, but we still are around the train tracks. It carries nice, though. I've grown to love it. And I'll tell you guys, if any of you folks are in the market, I think they list this as a 4-person. Now, I'll go, like if you watch a lot of camping videos and a lot of guys say the same thing as I'm about to tell you, if you're running these cots, full-size cots, this cot is from Cabela's, but the specs on this cot is the exact same as a military cot. It's the same size, the dimensions, the height, because I have an old military cot at home. It's a little bit heavier than this. Not a lot, but a little bit. And this one's just easier to set up. So, point of my story is, if you have 2 of these in your wood, and you each could each have a door and you could each have a foot locker. So, I mean, that's pretty friggin' respectable. And if you were actually sleeping on the ground, definitely 4 people. There's no way you couldn't not sleep in here. But with the high pitch, that's why another reason I went with the high pitch is for this cot, because I wouldn't want a high pitch 7 foot and I'm sleeping on the ground because heat rises. Even with the Smoky Hut and the Iron Wall, and those are only 5'1" or 5'2" at the pitch. Even with those, that's why I bring that little fan, because when you're actually laying on the ground, you're right beside the heat, and that's great, but as soon as it rises, so I have the fan to manipulate it, move it around a little bit. This fan here works awesome. It's one that heats up, and as the stove goes down, it goes out. I think you can see it. Like I say, guys, I'm still working with the same little China off-grade GoPro camera, but most of the stuff's out of China, eBay, or Amazon, sorry. But it runs nice and quiet. And the thing is with those little titanium stoves is once you do get a big bed of coals in it, it goes to show you. They say how quick the heat goes away from one of these little stoves. Well, I kind of beg to differ, because if you're using good wood and you get that big bed of coals right there, I put wood in it over 3 hours before. And when I woke up at almost 10 o'clock, that fan was still turning. And there was no fire in the box. It was just resonating off the coals. So it's pretty... Now, mind you, that fan does slow down when it does that, but it's still turning a good clip. You can feel the breeze. So, I think what I'm going to do, guys, just excuse me, and I'm going to put on a little sweater. And take you guys outside. Just to show you the morning. Now, I am using a microphone. So, there was our parking place for the wheeler. For you folks that didn't Where's Waldo it yesterday on my little videos. That's just me. Even though I'm using a wheeler, and you can see, where did the Badger drive the wheeler in? Well, if you're careful, you don't make a big ruckus and a great big bunch of tracks and gouge marks. But I wheel in a different way. It's a tool for me. And it sure is a great little tool. For the record, guys, that what we're running is a 1992 Yamaha Timberwolf. And it is a great little bike. And now I'll admit, being honest, I was an old Honda guy. My whole life, when I was a kid, the few dirt bikes, or not dirt bikes, but a few wheelers I had when I was a kid, I've had a few different types, but I've always had good luck with the old Hondas. This little one here, this little 250 Timberwolf, it runs just like a little 250 Honda. It's amazing. Maybe it's a Honda motor. No, it does. It runs great. And it sure makes this kind of thing a lot easier. Like I said, this coffee table, I call it, or foot locker, if it's uncovered, it's a foot locker, goes on the back of the wheeler. And I put so much gear in it, and it's not the weight of it, right? Because it's not. It's just the bulk of it. And that's what that little bugger allows me to do. But this was our camp. From where I was sitting, when I was talking to you guys, is right here. And you were on the white tub over there. And you can see the space in this thing. I mean, it's... And I'm not giving this tent, I'm not sponsored, I'm not a commercial. I'm just, if I get something that works pretty well, and the price seemed fair at today's standards, because, oh, I do got a good burn mark in her there, right there. Burn hole, I think. Well, that happens with hot tenting. So anyways, yeah, just going to finish my little coffee. And that's the name of her, guys. It's my second night. I've got no complaints. Like I said, I see a little burn hole, but that is not the tent's fault. You can't blame a tent for that, can you? If it's a hot tent. We're going to go inside and see what we can see. I didn't notice it. Oh yeah, right there. That's a big one. Two of them. Well, I'm going to have to patch that. Oh, sorry guys. When we get home, I assume that happened last night because I don't remember. I don't remember that being in it when I set it up. Oh, it bugs me when I do that to my gear, especially new stuff, but you know what? The next time I bring the iron wall out and I set up the iron wall, sorry, not the iron wall. The iron wall's got a few little burn holes in it, but the smoky hut. That's the one I've had the longest, and I'm going to put the camera up close so you guys can see the burn holes in the smoky hut. Like, they're not that big, but they're tiny ones. And I swear to you guys, I've had that tent in some of the biggest rains I've ever been in, and I don't know how, but it must be the teepee design. The water that one there could be a problem, so I'm going to have to put a small piece of tape on that one. But I'm not going to lie. I've got three One Tigress tents. And I paid for every one of them, and those guys, I'm not disappointed in any one of them. And if they'd had the Rock Fortress available, that's what I really wanted, because there wasn't much difference in the price between that and this. Not that this would have been any different. I'd have still burnt it too, obviously. It's all in the wind direction, you see. And I really thought the wind was coming out of this direction. It was when I set up yesterday, but we are kind of on the top of a mountain, so it tends to change on you. My. My wife bought me this. Isn't that the nicest little cutting board you've ever seen? So yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little cooking this winter. We get out, and like I said, guys, if I'm unable to like get out in the bush, I'm gonna use the little badger testing area, but I'm still gonna get out, because to me, when I do that kind of stuff, I can see the house, but I'm not going to go to it. I treat it like it's a camp, you know. Yeah. I don't know about that little converter thing. I'll have to try it with the butane just to see. That's the second cup, by the way. Yeah, but I've probably taken enough of you guys this time. I just wanted to touch base and say we've had a good trip, and showed you what happened last night. We had one incident, apparently. I didn't think we did, but we had that little burn hole. So the badger will be definitely more careful. And I think the next camp after this one, guys, I really feel like it's going to be a multi-day with the wheeler. I maybe even use this location, I'm not sure. And it's going to be like a multi-day, 2 or 3 day video. You know, like it ain't going to be 6 hours long or nothing, but it's going to be just, I got some vacation coming up here in a couple weeks, and I planned on taking 2 or 3 days and jumping on the wheeler and packing a bunch of food and just taking the cot and probably this tent. It's going to be definitely a tent I can use the cot in for sure. And yeah, and have some heat and some, you know, I won't be cooking steaks or anything, because I will be in the woods for 3 days, 2 or 3 days. But I will be cooking because I've got no choice, so that means we will have to go and designate us a cooking spot away from our camp. All kinds of good stuff. Build us a little latrine area, and so just remember that in a couple weeks we're gonna go do that camp, and you'll see a couple little short videos in between. Like I said, I wanted to use some of this new gear that I purchased. Some of it I always wanted. Well, most of it I always wanted. That's why I did it, and I just want to give you guys my 2 cents worth on it. That way there, you know, I know some of you guys have contacted me and you do camp and you're into camping or getting into it. And I'm no expert, guys, but God, I can't sit here and tell you honestly how many nights I've spent in the woods. I've lost track. I tell my wife, I said I've forgotten more trips than I've been than I remember, you know. But it's true. There's so many people I've done this with and shared this with, and some of them are still doing it, and that's awesome. And some of you guys watch me, you know, maybe considering getting into it. And like I said, for me the biggest hurdle was the stove. These tents here, like I said, if you watch yourself, you can even buy these with the actual snow skirts. That's what I recommend now. If you're gonna get, the one Tigris little ones I use, it's not a big deal because they're just a tiny little teepee tent. But if you're going to get out in something bigger like this, or you purchase one, try to get something with snow skirts, because those snow skirts, you can roll them up when you don't need them and put them inside. but it basically anchors your little unit right down. But a word of advice, any of these teepee tents, any tent I have, basically, not just teepee tents, but these especially, use your guy outs. Use your guy outs, and I've never had no issues. I guy it out so that it's all its points. Sometimes I'll skip one maybe, but I try to get them all. So okay, I think, excuse me. I think that's everything I wanted to talk to you guys about. There will be a couple little short videos coming out. Like I said, these little gadgets and gizmos and things, I just want you guys my 2 cents worth, and then you'd know if you may be interested in it or not. And one of the anniversary presents my wife got me, I definitely use that. I didn't video anything on it because that video stuff I'm going to do around my house. But I wanted to do a field test out here. And because of the wheeler, you know, 2 or 3 pounds ain't an issue, right? So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to our little channel, hit the subscribe button, click the like, share my videos, you know. Our channel's growing slowly, guys, and I'm just trying to get out there, you know. But subscribe, comments, that sure helps the channel a lot. And, you know, like I said, the 2 or 3 day camp, I'm leaning towards 3 days because I can't tell you the last time I did a 3-day camp. I did a 2-day camp last year. On that camp, it rained, freezing rain, turned to snow on the second morning. When I woke up, it was snow. That one's on the channel too, guys. I'm trying to sell you my videos now. But no. That was snow, ice, rain, rain, ice, rain, and snow. That was 2-day camp. That was a good camp. But yeah, so what we're going to do, we're just going to let her wind down here, have another cup of coffee. It's just about ready. Relax, and I am going to try to get home for about, oh well, let's just call it for what it is. I'm going to try to get home for 1 o'clock. Gives me 2.5 hours to do this little. In all honesty, guys, if I hit it hard, probably 30-35 minutes I could strike camp and be out. And that's not running, that's just efficiency. The stove would take the most time because I'm very, very, very careful with my stove. It's not because I'm scared of breaking it, it is because of the little rods that thread. I'd never want to lose one, although I know I could replace them with just wing nuts, not brass, but wing nuts. And this little candle has been saying it is out of wax for the last hour and a half. It's got a little indicator on the side. Made in Washington, patent 1971, almost as old as the Badger. Anyway, guys, until next time, keep on a camping with the Badger, guys. Thank you.